Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are just before market close on Friday, August 4th. We're going to take a look at Lucid today. We're going to start here on Webull. We're going to put in some support and resistance levels on the daily chart, and then we're going to flip over to Thinkorswim and look at this study as well to get sort of another view and some additional indicators there. So the first thing that jumps out to me is there was this gap that was left when we had this minus 16% day back beginning of June, and that has just recently been filled. And oftentimes what we see after a stock finishes filling an up gap is it sort of struggles to hang on to that price. Now, of course, that's not a hard and fast rule, but I've seen it happen several times, especially with these sort of relatively recently IPO'd growth stocks, and especially those that were SPAC'd into existence. So that's something that certainly stood out to me as we come into a pretty rough day today here, especially toward close. There's been a big sell-off in the second half of the day. But let's get some levels in and go from there. So probably one of the nearest in levels right about here. You see all of this wicking topping out, and then got support here a few days recently. That 669 level, pretty important. Another one right here, and I'm gonna pin it to this, the upper level of this gap. 682 is what I want, because I want the high on the day of this big gap down. And you see that played a role here near wick miss, and then several days of trying to build support. Now, the other thing that I would note, I'm going to scroll right momentarily to put in a box, a rectangle, because it appears to be a small gap here as well on this gap down of a little over 5%. So I'm interested to see if that's going to play a role. And that goes from, what's the low on this day? 716 to 689. So let's put that in. 716. No, this can't be 689. Sorry. High of 709. There we go. And what did I say? 719, right? Low 716. Okay. I'm very tired today, so you're gonna have to just sort of deal with my limited capacity at the moment. I'm gonna turn this sort of imperceptible gray just so that it doesn't stand out too much, but as we get into that box you'll certainly notice it at the slight color differential. All right, so back to some levels. So obviously it's peaking down lower than the level we have in. I don't love that level. When's the last time that we were in this six-ish range? All right, I'm gonna put this in now, but I'm gonna try to get in some near in levels right about 616. Okay, let's see what we have if we continue to scroll left. Nothing. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with a little bit of murky relatively recent price action, because there's not a super strong level in here, in my opinion. This might be the best we're gonna get. 645. The nice thing is, this is on the daily, but we're getting, we're not getting like super spready on our support and resistance levels. What I mean by that is we don't have like, psychological levels of 6, 650, 675, 7. These are not really psychological at all, just in sort of like representation. And they're very close in. They're not, 50 cents or $1 apart. So that's really good, because these strong daily levels can be really good indicators for shorter time frames. So 633 seems obvious. Let me see if there's one more, and then we'll do some to the upside, so this isn't just appearing to be, hey, here's all the levels that Lucid could fall through. Okay, so these are the levels that I see to the downside. So right now we're at 662. So I see 645, 633, 723, and then like 616. And if we need to, we can always come back in and add some more if it falls through 6. But as to not clutter up the chart, I'm going to turn my attention to the upside and go from there. So we have this double topping out. Looking at these two candles here, there's not enough additional. Oh, am I changing my mind as I'm about to say it? Yeah, okay, let's put this here, 692. So we have this topping out. We do have this wick. We do have this wick. And we have also sort of a near miss on the bar of today's candle. So there may be a little something there. I'm not completely convinced, but we'll see. 704, we got some action there. Oh, and we have some nice additional levels that we can pull from this even further back price action, which is what I'd rather do. Let's see what's standing out here. Okay, here's a level, 716. Yeah, it's gonna be potentially, I mean, who knows? There could be really big catalysts because earnings is coming up, isn't that right? Is that on Monday? Today's the 4th, on the 7th, so 5, 6, 7, that's Monday. So you have a really big catalyst coming up. So, you know, it could blow through some of these based on a really big event like earnings. But short of that, or even if that does happen, there might be a ton of stickiness between this like $6 level and this $7.50 level. Because there are a lot of support and resistance levels as I see it. Okay, that seems to be one as well. Okay, a $1 jump at this price point is an incredibly high percentage gain. So I'll put in one more level and then we'll call that a day for now. Because we could just do this for 25 minutes, but it doesn't do us much good to plot a course up to $30 and down to $2 or something like that. Okay, so these are levels that I see to the upside. So there's a bunch of them, and a lot of them, like I said, are close in. So that's why I think it might be, even in the aftermath of a big event, if it does have a big move on earnings, you might see some real stickiness here. 6, 69, 82, 92, 704, 16, 29, 45, 63, 82. As I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if there's anything in this. This gap sort of stands out because all these other levels are so close in together. There might be something here right around 658. I'm not going to put it in at the moment, but just know that it appears that there might be a little bit there. It's not a ton of candles to go off of, but that's kind of the case for all of these levels down. So let's flip over to Thinkorswim. Now here we have a channel and some ribbons and TTM squeeze indicator and RSI. So RSI sitting, relatively mid to low, as you would imagine, given sort of the recent price action. This is interesting. You have a bunch of triggering here, and then today is showing a first day of firing. Now, this can certainly fake you out sometimes in a couple of different ways. One, it can fake you out and it can fire, but not actually do much of anything. Two, it can fire, and the direction in which it appears to be firing, which by today's standard would be down, can be totally wrong. It could fire on that candle, but the fire is actually in the other direction. So I usually wait to see unless it seems really clear for some reason. Interesting, last time it had a pretty lengthy trigger, which was here. You did get a really big move when it did fire. So that's interesting. So we'll see sort of what happens with that. But in any case, it's pushing the mid to lower bound of this channel, not the lower yet. But that's where it's situated at the moment. So see if it can pick up any support there on that 650-ish level, or if it's going to stretch down closer to 6, which is the lower bound of this channel. It can obviously leave the channel. You see it leaves it here. Oftentimes, when it spends time out of the channel, it reverts back to the midline, which right now is right around here, right around the $7 level. So, we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what's going to happen. But this is really interesting to me. If this trigger and fire holds, because again, we're just 2 minutes before close. So I would imagine it does, but you never know. That's really interesting that it's firing the last trading day before earnings. So we'll see, like I said, if that brings anything. But otherwise, situated really well in the channel, and just kind of sitting there, hanging on, seeing what's going to come from earnings. All right, folks. I hope you had a good trading week and that you have an exciting earnings trading day if you're trading Lucid on Monday. And I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.